Scanning for audio.
Welcome to a Tin Dog podcast. Yes, it's the week of Dark Eyes 2. So, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. However, let's jump from the end of part 2 with its wonderful cliffhanger straight into a completely different narrative. Yes, that will throw you, that will knock you for six, that will take you on a little trip and make you go, oh, hang on, I need to know what was happening. But you know what? You did need to know what was happening. But you also need to know what's happening in the White Room, because in many respects, this is where the narrative of the story begins. It's Dark Eyes 2. Yes, that makes sense. This time, because you're expecting, the Eminence or the Daleks to turn up, what do you get? You get a completely different narrative. Something that, it's the Doctor in peril at the opening. It's almost the IRA. It's back to the, post-war England. That is the realm of Molly. Molly, the original person from Dark Eyes. Yes, we had to get her back in here in order to have a justification for the name being used on the box set. And you know what? I can live with that. I really can. Paul is completely in his stride, and also, as a testimony to what a fantastic actor he is, he's managing to come across as considerably less haggard, less worn out, less weary in this story, because this is a much more important part of the narrative. This is where he belongs. So yes, you've got him in peril. And yes, you've got a whole what's really going on. What is happening at the Institute? Who are these people? And yes, the Virons. People from the Charlotte Pollard universe. People from, a world created. Yes, monsters created completely by Big Finish. Now, the Virons, like many of the other Doctor Who monsters, need to be done, properly. They need to be given something to do, a reason to exist. They have a whole narrative structure. They have a massive backstory. But basically, they're trying to control outbreaks of very specific types of viruses. Now, the logical outcome of this is dealt with in the Charlotte Pollard box set, but that's not important right now. What is important right now is that, something's going on at a location at a very odd institute. Molly and her, let's use the rabbit ears, cousins are involved, and the Doctor has to sort the whole thing out before the Virons take out the entirety of London. It's atmospheric, it's definitely pacey, and it has a sort of feel that draws you in constantly, over and over again. Every time you listen to it, you're hearing something new. Yes, it could annoy some people, Molly's use of tardy box and things like that, but you know what? I can live with that, because Molly is such a great character. Episode 2, The White Room, may not have the same amount of, fan service that you get in the first story, or rather classic fan service, but it definitely adds to the narrative. And if this was part 1, it would have distracted you somewhat and perhaps been a little bit disappointing. But no, because you've got that worrying, niggling feeling going on at the back of your mind about what happened at the end of the last story, knowing fine well that as a box set all of these stories will fit together, and knowing that something big's coming, it gives you impetus to keep going. Not particularly a bad story, but definitely well structured. So yes, Episode 2 may not be the heights of this box set, but they're by no means the worst thing Big Finish has ever produced, because it's just Dark Eyes 2. It's still fantastic, and it's Molly back in the narrative where she belongs. So, now you've got Molly back, you've also got Part 3 coming your way, and that, a completely different feel, a different audio texture to it, is Time's Horizon, and we'll talk about that next time. You've been listening to the Tin Dog Podcast. Available on RSS, iTunes, Stitcher, Audio Boom and Tumblr. Doctor Who and its associated works are copyright of the BBC. No infringement is intended. You can contact the show, donate, buy merchandise or find out more about my other projects by visiting the Tin Dog Podcast homepage and clicking on the links. The Tin Dog Podcast is a founder member of the Doctor Who Podcast Alliance.